fellas, we gotta talk about something. Now, while everybody hyped for the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, and everybody hyped that a new Mario Kart coming out with it, Mario Kart 9, we gotta talk about 4 our favorite games that we're looking out for when the Nintendo Switch 2 launch. Now, we're going over all the high points, all the low points, and when we think these games are going to release. So, without any further ado, let me get into this thing. Now, first up on the list is one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time, Pokémon. And I'm really talking about Pokémon Legends Z-A. Pokémon Z-A is a follow-up to Pokémon Legends Arceus, which is undoubtedly the most interactive Pokémon game that we ever get. Guys, like, as somebody who grew up playing Nintendo since the Game Boy, the first Game Boy, and I played Pokemon when it come out, so I played Pokemon Yellow, and seeing it change from 8-bit digital art to what it is now, what we always wanted since we was wee little boys. We get to throw a Pokeball. Can you imagine that? We get to actually walk up behind a Pokemon and like, oh, gotta catch them all. We actually get to do that, dog. That was mind blowing. Like, we overlook so much faults in our game, like the fact that so much of the landscape was barren and you get repetitive Pokemon on it because of the mechanics. Now, Pokemon Legends Z-A keeping that same mechanic, but imagine that mechanics on better system, better hardware, a better graphics card. This thing going to be off the charts, and if they take the time, like if Game Freak really take the time and try not to do what they did with Scarlet and Violet, we in for a treat with this game. They're going to be like coconut ice cream on Maracas Beach. Pokemon Legends Z-A set in Lemoy City. Lemoy. Set in Lemoy City. I don't know, right? But that is basically we heading back to Kalos, right? Which is a place we haven't seen since Pokemon X and Y. That was back on Nintendo 3DS. Somehow they're not even old enough to remember that stuff. Jeez. Getting old. Here in that Nintendo keeping with the same mechanics, we expected to get Mega Evolutions back in this one. So just imagine getting Mega Evolutions that Pokemon that never got that before. Imagine you rolling around town with a Charizard that going Mega. Boy, man go and get burned up. Now, one thing we're really hoping for as Pokemon fans, and this is something that we're begging for and we was hoping to get in Legends Arceus, right? We're here to play games, dog, not to read. Hire some voice actors now, Game Freak, Nintendo. Let the people talk, let we actually hear what they're saying for a change. I don't want to and skippable text, you know what I mean? Like skippable. Like, I don't want to talk to this person for a whole conversation if I realize they have nothing to say. So skippable text and voice actors. Please, that's what we're begging for. Now, when it comes to the release date, we know that they say it's a 2025 release date. So we know sometime this year. When this year, we get in around summer. So, summer 2025. That will align with when all previous Pokemon games launch, right? So, hopefully, if everything sticks to the schedule that it normally sticks to, we're looking at summer 2025 for Pokemon Legends Z-A. Next on our list at number 2, Metroid Prime 4. And oh my god, this is one we're waiting for since Thy Kingdom Come, because remember they announced it back in when they announced it, right? Back in 2017, and everybody who had a Switch was waiting for it, and everybody who didn't have a Switch went and buy one. The last Metroid Prime game came out in 2007, and that was Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, right? And since 2007 to 2017, that's 10 years, right? We hear nothing until 2017 when they say that we're getting Metroid Prime 4. Until this day, still waiting. So, now Metroid Prime 4, or Metroid Prime Beyond as they call it, right? That is the name of the game, Metroid Prime Beyond. It is being developed by the same company, Retro Games, that developed the first 3 Metroid Prime games. So that is a good sign. We have the same team that work on the first 3 games working on this installation. So, we good to go. And they're also talking about a more open world experience, so hopefully a story mode with a large open world experience, something akin to like Legends Arceus or probably Breath of the Wild. So imagine you playing Metroid Prime 4 on an open world. You're just walking around finding enemies and just blah blah blah. You know, for the downside of this, it's almost been 20 years, 2 decades since we had the last Metroid Prime installation. And it's been 8 years since they announced Metroid Prime 4 and we still didn't get the game. So we're hoping that if everything goes according to Nintendo's schedule and Retro Studios' schedule, we're hoping to see this game by the holiday season 2025 or early 2026. Now that will give Retro Studio enough time to really kind of polish this game down and get all the mechanics working good and actually give us a game this time. So we're hoping on that. Now the one everybody already know about, right? Because we see it in the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement, Mario Kart 9. And it's been 13 years since our last Mario Kart installation. The last installment of Mario Kart that we had was Mario Kart 8. That's 13 consecutive years of Mario Kart 8. You would think that people fed up at this thing. Sales have never been higher. Mario Kart is just killing and Nintendo just milking that cash cow. Why put out Mario Kart 9 if people still buy Mario Kart 8? Everybody who buy a new Switch, that's one of the first games they buy. So Nintendo prolonged putting out Mario Kart for the longest, and we finally getting it with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now there are strong rumors of a story mode. How true that is, we have to wait and see. But that would be one of the most epic things that Nintendo and Mario Kart ever do. Just imagine a story mode with missions, side quests, mini boss to fight. That would be a huge addition and make Mario Kart 9 feel different from all the rest of installations where you're just driving around collecting trophies. Like, we know the mechanics and we're ready for our upgrade. Now we also know that the track's going to be a lot bigger, right? Because if you ever play Mario Kart, you're in first place, you're on the last lap, and your brethren just send a blue shell and knock you out. You know in your mind that if you had one more lap, or if you had a little more space or a little more time, could I take that man out? And it's a bad mind. It's bad mind that's going to bring you back and we're going for a round 2. We had to play this again. Best out of 3. So we're going to bypass all that and we're going to play a new fresh game because we had longer tracks, bigger tracks, and it's rumored to support up to 24 drivers at the same time. So imagine playing Mario Kart with 24 friends. If you have 24 friends. If you know 24 people. We're hearing a lot of rumors about new characters too, so characters that you never see before coming to Mario Kart 9. So we're hoping, we're waiting, and we're going to see what happens when this thing drops. When it dropping, well, more than likely together with the Nintendo Switch 2. So on release date, we're looking to get Mario Kart 9 released with the Nintendo Switch 2, hopefully. You know, Nintendo sometimes change their mind. The last game on all this, and my most anticipated game for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now it wasn't officially announced, but we know it in production, Hollow Knight Silksong. Now this is the sequel to the 2017 original Hollow Knight game, and it was officially announced back in 2019 by its development team, Team Cherry. But since then the updates have been sporadic and like unintentional. We don't know really what's going on, except that they keep telling us that it is in production, it's progressing, and it's going to release soon. Now it's 2025 and we haven't seen Silksong as yet, so I hoping that we get Silksong with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now Silksong is claiming to offer expanded and more refined gameplay, stating that the experience will be similar to but different to the original Hollow Knight. Unlike the original game's soul system, Silksong introduces a silk mechanic. Hornet, the character that you're using to play with, gathers silk when he defeats characters in the game, right? So enemies in the games, you go, you hit them, You battle them, you collect silk, and it collects in a bar directly below your health bar. You know how a super bar does be storing up, so you're going to have a bar underneath where Hornet collects all the silk now. Now you're using this silk for special abilities like healing and all this kind of thing, right? And other kind of special abilities. We don't know what as yet, but that is what we collecting the spool, the silk for. Now, this healing process called bind, that is what they call in the healing process when you use the silk. It allows you to keep regenerating your health and keep moving forward. So you don't have to die and start back from a save point, you just keep moving forward. Gather your silk by defeating enemies and just regenerate your health as you go along. The game features a comprehensive quest system, categorized into 4 different categories. We have Gather, Wayfarer, Hunt, and Grand Hunt. These quests are provided by various NPCs along the game. So you know you don't really like to go up and talk to people, so because you're antisocial, that's why you're playing games in the first place. Walk around, it's a virtual world, talk to some people. Hornet can also craft and utilize a bunch of tools while moving along during the game and the game develop. And you could use these tools to assist in combat, meaning you could make some weapons and beat some. This gives you the freedom to adapt your playstyle to wherever you like and approach the game from whichever angle you want to. The game includes over 100 checkpoints scattered throughout the whole of Falloom, and Falloom is the place where the game is actually taking place, right? So that is the world where Hollow Knight is. Now these checkpoints are known as benches, and they're known as benches for a reason, to serve as a rest point for you to regroup and regather and plan your next strategy, see where you're going from there, and also save your game. So if you die, you know you're going back to that bench, your last bench you was on. Now because of all the radio silence coming from the development from Cherry developers for this game, the forums blowing up with a whole bunch of speculation, a whole bunch of theories as to when the game going to come out. And that is why I think, and I could be wrong too, that they're holding out to release this game on the new Nintendo Switch 2. I could be wrong. They could just be back and like delayed with production and them kind of thing, and that is what taking them so long. We don't know, but we just have to wait and see. But this is my most anticipated game for the Nintendo Switch 2. So now that we get that out of the way, let me know what's your number 1 pick out of these 4. Or if you're waiting for something else, or you're waiting to play one of your Nintendo Switch games that you have now on the new system to see how good they're going to look. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we're going to see you in the next one. Hopefully. We out.